In the final installment of our Jack of All Trades campaign, our hero Jack of All Trades will be arriving at Baldur's Gate, where he'll scrounge up enough XP to get the final few classes he needs for our achievement. We'll have a long road ahead, so let's head to bed. If you haven't seen Act 1 or 2, you should probably watch those first. And if you watch the whole series by now, you're officially obliged to subscribe. Now, we immediately get ambushed by some Githyanki. Our Dream Guardian needs some help and summons us through a portal we need to fight to. And I didn't even get to long rest. With only 3 turns to get to the portal, there's no point in attempting to kill any of these guys. I slipped on some Dark Justiciar boots we got last act, along with the rest of my sick outfit, which lets us teleport and flee to the astral plane. Our Dream Guardian calls to us to defend them. From what? Well, it appears to be even more Githyanki. Considering I don't have any short rests, I want to stay as healthy as possible, and use as little spells in that regard as possible. Despite the fact that everyone in the astral plane gets huge jumps, and these Githyanki being super athletic, they don't actually have the ability to jump. So by jumping over to this platform, we can start off Act 3 in the only way we know how, peppering enemies from afar. I'll save you the 56 round combat. Our Dream Guardian is desperately calling to us for help, but considering that last combat took 5 real minutes of in-game time, they can wait a little longer. We loot around getting some good scrolls for later, and kill some more Githyanki in a much simpler manner.
It's not over.
Now then, let's actually help. Surprise, surprise, our sketchy dream visitor was actually a mind flayer. And if we don't want to immediately die, we'll need to support him. For this fight, I've re-equipped Shar's Spear of Evening, which will help a lot with how much we'll be in the dark. We'll need to be actively taking aggro, or else our mind flayer ally will die, and if that happens, I'll die. By using Shar's Spear's special attack, we can create an area of darkness around me. Now my spear does extra damage and has advantage. Not only that, the Githyanki have disadvantage from being blind, letting us dodge all their hits. If they ever get an attack through, we have spell slots to cast Shield, giving us an extra 5 AC for the turn. This is on top of our 23 AC, which also inflicts reeling if enemies miss, so we're pretty safe. The same can't be said for the Emperor, who is still fighting a 2v1. I have Sanctuary for this reason, but because of the initiative order, it doesn't actually help much, since he'll interrupt my protection by attacking. We can assist him while distracting our Githyanki though. This fight is self-explanatory from here. We'll want to stay in the darkness, attacking the weakest enemy each turn, and keep the Mind Flayer alive. Eventually we're down to our last foe, who is quite formidable. The Mind Flayer currently can't help us with the darkness up, so I try raging instead. Now this seemed to go well, until she nearly kills me. I don't think I'll be keeping on with the rage. Darkness is going back up. The Mind Flayer once again can't hit anything, but neither can she, and she falls after many stabs in the dark. The Mind Flayer redominates the locked Githyanki and reintroduces himself. He is the Emperor, a rogue Mind Flayer from the Absolute. He's been using this Githyanki's power to protect us and wants our continued support. It's a bit much to take in, but he promises to give us even greater Mind Flayer powers by communing with his tadpole. So we smush it against our face mask and awaken our Illithid potential.
Tadpole awakens.
Now we have even more powerful Illithid abilities, including flight and several powerful passives. With our new powers, we can actually go to sleep and travel into town tomorrow. Welcome to Baldur's Gate. Just kidding, we're still not there. We're on the outskirts, Rivington. This whole Absolute issue and a certain black-haired cultist has caused a bit of a refugee issue. Jack has a lot on his plate, so he won't be spending too much time with them. I'm sure somewhere in my 8 classes there's a lore reason. Regardless, I do want to make a pit stop at the carnival. Act 3 is full of wondrous items, and the carnival is host to a few. We have quite a few options to persuade our way in, and we'll only be getting more. Jack, if anything, is a gambling addict by fate, so we sell our endless spoils we have laying around and spin Akabi's Wheel of Wonders. You can get tons of useless but funny magic items here, like a reverse raincoat that makes you permanently wet. Certainly very useful prizes, but there is the grand prize to get still. By buying or pickpocketing this ring, we can learn the secrets of the wheel, which gets us the grand prize. A trip to the distant past of 1996. We have to fight our way out of this dreadful period, and on the way out, we get a parting gift of Nerulna. This is a throwing weapon that on hit does AoE thunder damage and returns to your hand, so if you're ever doing a throwing build, look out for this weapon. After escaping from that cesspool, it's time to get into Baldur's Gate itself. Firstly, we'll need to get into Worm's Crossing, preferably in a way that doesn't involve talking to this possessed woman. There are several ways to accomplish this, and my favorite is to just fly past them.
No.
Worm's Crossing is a bustling trade center with lots to do. We have lots to do already, so let's just head to Baldur's Gate. We make some convincing arguments and they lower the gate for our entry. Man, that is one creaky drawbridge. Inside, one Lord Enver Gortash invites us upstairs for his coronation, and he has something to discuss with us. Not before leveling and getting our first new class of the act, what looks to be Bard. This doesn't give us anything of use, except for the ability to jam. And get some coinage. Sound familiar? Either way, we won't be doing this all day, but I will want to get some money. Gortash wants to make an alliance, which we accept. I've never done this before and I'm curious. Plus we'll have more than enough XP so he can live. The condition is we need to kill Orin later. Finally we can go to Baldur's Gate. Upon entering, we immediately head to the nearest pub to extort the locals. There's an achievement for playing music, so I might as well get it. Oop, there it is. Now in this pub's basement, the Emperor tells us that his old belongings are here, and they're guarded by a bunch of rats. Time for a brief showcase of our new legendary weapon. Hope you enjoyed it, cause that's all you're gonna be seeing of it. Those weren't the only rats though. Of course by rats I mean Get the Yankee. We can fly to the portals on each side and one-shot the Get that are opening them. And for the rest, we'll deal with them like the other Get the Yankee. Permanent darkness for them. Though these Get the Yankee have the coordination of a proper Baldur's Gate 3 party for some reason. One frightens me, one shoves me outside of the darkness, and the last one tries to hold Durst in me. I can't even go back in the darkness since I'm frightened. So instead of that, I trap one in the corner and once again cast darkness. No shenanigans this time. The others remaining can't breach my darkness wall and soon after each fall. In the back is a secret chamber full of sweet, sweet loot. None of which I'll actually use, but will sell for coins to fund my gambling addiction. We take the back door out and we end up in the sewers, where Halsin is for some weird reason. Unfortunately, Halsin succumbs to his bonitis, an uncurable disease. So tragic. No, it's just Orin, the shapeshifter. She is a similar proposition to Gortash, though instead of teaming up with us, she'll just refrain from killing Halsin. We don't need to kill Gortash to save Halsin, so I'll just ignore her offer. Alright, it's time we get out of the stinking sewers. We've got an agenda. First line of important business, and an overlooked part of Act 3 is this man right outside Basilisk Gate. His cabbages were stolen by a band of thieves, and Geezer Loris is not happy. In order to progress in the story, we'll need to find all 47 of his cabbages hidden throughout the city. We'll keep an eye out for cabbage. In the meantime, there's a note regarding hag survivors, which I so happen to be, so I might as well stop by. And it's foreclosed, of course. But there is a note regarding another meeting place, Old Garlow's, and it's written by Mayrina. Wouldn't you know it, everyone's going to Baldur's Gate these days. Going to Old Garlow's, guess what? This one's condemned. But unlike the other one, I can actually hear commotion inside. And inside is what appears to be not Mayrina. So let's see what their deal is. The conclusion is a bunch of crazed hag hunters, who think I'm a hag spawn. On the bright side, I can relate somewhat to this crazed acolyte, being a devotee to Saloon fully clad in Sharan armor. Turns out Mayrina's already been hexed and is a sheep. I'm a bad druid, so I still need to drink a potion, but it seems like this truly is Mayrina, who just barely blurts out that the cause of this hex is the nearby doll. This doll happens to be cursed, and so we'll have to remove the curse in order to save her. I don't have a single remove curse scroll, unfortunately, so we'll have to buy some. Just down the road is the Sorceress Sundries, owned by Wizard Lorokan, who, if you remember from a while ago, had a quest to capture the Night Song, who is dead. Let's buy our magical items and give him the bad news.
Dead? That cannot be. It is immortal. A god.
I'll hold my tongue. If he can't tell I killed her, he doesn't deserve to know.
Is that meant to be some consolation? It was the key to my immortality. How can this be? How can this be? Shit! Oh, your terrible tidings have cost me everything. My grand design, dashed to ruins. This always happens to me.
Aw, poor guy. Let's take all his stuff. First try and we're able to get his wand, which we might actually use more than once. It has some strong bonuses and free spells to boot. His cloak isn't as useful and isn't even legendary, but we don't get it either way. Now for the real treasure, his vault. There's plenty of powerful items and scrolls here, which I won't go over all of them, but there's a powerful one that lets us summon a diva. Divas have a powerful mace which he unfortunately can't drop, but we'll be addressing that later. There's also a powerful spellbook here, which we won't touch for now. Let's head out and use this remove curse on Mayrina. Not before heading up another side quest. At this barracks here, a woman named Laura has run into some issues. Namely, her only daughter Vanra has gone missing and there's a large stink of foul play. Naturally, we'll help her.
You will?
Around this time we get to level 10, which means the wheel needs another spin. Paladin this time means once again absolutely nothing. I'm still angry I haven't gotten Wizard. Our oath doesn't matter too much since I'm able to break my oath in the future, but we'll take the healing. Now then, since we've been divinely blessed even more than before, I think it's about time we give our prayers to Saloon at the local tabernacle. Here clerics are given the opportunity to give offerings to their gods and we'll be donating around 4,000 gold. Okay, exactly 4,000 gold, and not a penny more. If you donate a large enough amount, you can get a buff that lasts for the whole day, which is actually pretty good, so we'll be doing it when we can. And now that that's all done, let's now head into the basement. Here we can head to Saloon's offering chest and take it all back. However, this has the downside of cursing us, as Saloon isn't too happy. The downside doesn't matter too much since if we die we lose regardless, but this is actually a plus. We'll go to camp to remove this curse and we just got to summon a diva. I forget why I have this remove curse scroll. I'm sure it wasn't too important. Anyways, unlike the previous diva, we now have a body. Looting it nets us nothing. But if we leave it overnight, it'll emulsify into a pouch containing his mace. Say hello to plus 4d8 radiant. We'll be using this when we can since it does far more damage than we can ever do. Cabbage check, we're a little over halfway there on the main quest, 22 more cabbages to go. After besting Saloon's champion, Saloon forgives us and we can pray at her daily once again for our buff. Now what was I doing? Oh yeah, I'll need to get more scrolls or remove curse for Mayrina. Which does remind me, since we're here, let's head back to the Sorcerer's Vaults and read this book. After reading it gives us a debuff, but after cleansing the curse, we actually have another permanent buff, giving us 20 temporary HP every long rest. Another welcome buff for the arsenal. Now what was I doing again? Fine, let's go save Mayrina. After cleansing her hex, Jotlo reveals himself to be a traitor, working for Auntie Ethel, who's still alive? Anyways, Jotlo is annoying to fight, not because he's hard or anything, but because he summons a dozen crabs to help fight him. There is a very simple trick to this fight though. Jotlo, you no longer have a turn. Thanks for playing, come again soon. By sheer chance, it turns out that Vanra is also captured by Auntie Ethel, which means we're headed to the bar. Not before reading a very important book. This gives us the recipe for Hag's Bane, which we'll need for Auntie. Here at the Blushing Mermaid, we need to follow our leads, and they lead us here to the basement. Not a lot going on. On first look, that is. Here's an invisible wall, leading to a door that opens with Auntie's lair key, so I guess that makes this Auntie's lair. After breaking and entering, we find a whole lot of nothing, except for some mushrooms. I hate mushrooms, so let's burn them down. Whoop, looks like I just healed it all back. No way we can burst it down. I knew this would come in handy though. Bone Chill blocks an entity's healing for a turn, so we can Bone Chill it every round down to 0. And Auntie's here now. And her posse comes with her. Oh, hey Grizzly. She's the owner. Guess Auntie had a body double upstairs earlier. Well, now it's confirmed that it's Auntie. I should probably flee and tell Mayrina before we engage her.
We've been a stone's throw from each other this whole time. My heart is pounding at the thought. Oh, I'm not scared. I'm excited. You can make her pay for everything she's done. Everyone she's hurt. I've given you the tools you need to take her down. But I need a favor. When she dies screaming, tell her Mayrina says hi.
Sneaking back in, let's bane this hag.
What did you... Stay down, Vanra! Oh! Mayrina. She did this to... Ah! You cost me a fresh, young hag. I'm going to paint the wall with your guts, you little shit stain.
Yeah, unfortunately it's not that easy. Auntie will resurrect after you kill her, and it's due to these mushrooms around the room. As before, we can take them out with Bone Chill, but since there's enemies this time, we'll have to do it under the cover of darkness. Now we can utilize the nearby haste spores to kill Auntie for real this time. Auntie's the only one that we really need to kill, and the fight ends, with Vanra freed and ready to return to her mummy. All of Auntie's followers have also been freed, including Captain Grizzly, who has some unique dialogue.
I've raided warships, fought every beastie the sea can throw at you, and I've never flinched. Not once. But Ethel? Umberly's tits. She snapped her fingers and had me. I would have died for her. Wanted to. Then you showed up. Armed to the teeth. You could have killed me. Been right to. But you didn't. You have an old captain's thanks. Oh, shut up. You saved me when you didn't have to. Accept the damn thank you. You're welcome in the Maid. Anytime. The old girl is as much your home as she is mine. And I'll gut anyone who says otherwise.
Alright, time to get my reward from Laura. Behold another legendary weapon. It will firmly sit at the bottom of my pack. Now for what I had planned, I'll need some extra XP, so let's go get some. There's a distant cove back at Rivington, at which there are 2 battling factions and a ship. On said ship are some tadpoles. None of the powers I really care about from this point, so just know they'll be contributing to Cold a week. I really don't think I'll ever use this spell other than now, so let's just use it. Honestly, I thought it'd be flashier for an ancient spell in a lost forgotten tome, but what can you do? I think you know the drill by now. Stab, stab, boom, done. And cash. A suspicious mount at that. It's about time for one more level up. Second to last, let's see which comes first. And it looks like Wizard is finally here. Wizard has the useful ability to learn spells from spell scrolls, so I can actually learn 3rd level spells now. We can also regain some spell slots with Arcane Recovery now, so it's a big help in that department. Now then, it's time we take on one of the most secretive areas in Act 3. By heading to Wormrock Prison, heading down to the cells and coming to the side area with these 2 dragon heads, hit them both with a lightning spell and voila. Inside are a set of trials by Baldur himself. 4 trials to be exact. Insight, Justice, Strategy, and Courage. Starting off with Courage, survive for 4 rounds while holding a torch. It's simple enough really. Need I explain it again? Darkness and Shield will make you invulnerable for the most part. Next is the Chamber of Strategy. It's a mate in 2 puzzle. Not too hard if you know Lansport. And yes, before you ask, I was in the Lansport Club. Either way, move your queen twice to achieve glory. Justice is next, and here's why we got so many remove curse scrolls. We'll need to cast it on the judge here and input the jail painting to enact the proper justice. The last puzzle just involves finding the flying book around the room and hitting the girl whose name's inside. With all the trials done, we're now permitted to enter the final chamber to slay the great worm of Baldur's Gate. And it's already dead. Or is it? I let this cutscene play out since there's a lot of lore if you've never heard it before.
The dragon's spirit floods your mind and memory in a great torrent of power. He is with you. He is within you. He is you. The next words that spill from your mouth are not yours, but the worm's.
I am Ansur, heart of the gate, butchered in flesh, risen in spirit.
Ansur wends his way through your mind like an unstoppable river. Your body is unmoving, yet thought flows effortlessly between you. The spirit pauses, and you feel the astral prism stir. Ansur senses the Emperor's presence within it.
Answer me, Facey. Why have you come?
A deep sigh resonates within you. The torrent stills, only disturbed by the dragon's next words.
Brack, my words aren't meant for you. They're meant for him.
The Emperor stirs in the astral prism, then in you. Calm, curious, and detached.
Balduran. Your presence has stirred me, as it ever did. I am awakened.
Answer. It's been too long. A name I once answered to. A name I did not expect to hear again. Least of all from the mouth of an old friend.
Friend. Yes. And more. Until you killed me. Have you come to dance on my bones, Balduran? Was slaying me not satisfaction enough?
Satisfaction? No. You left me no choice.
You had every choice. You were becoming illithid. I offered you merciful death. You chose to fight. And now you bring your thrall before me. How far has the great Balduran fallen?
Stillness. Ansur's consciousness hovers just above yours, searching, seeing.
Dear Ansur.
Enough! I gave you everything, Balduran. And you repaid me in slaughter. It is time I return the favor. Let my bones rise and the storms gather. Witness Balduran. The final tempest has come. I am the heart of the gate. I am the one who roars. This time, you will not escape it.
Alright, lore dumping aside, let's fight. I recommend you drink an elixir of lightning resistance, since Ansur will deal 80 damage with his breath attacks. And he has a legendary action making him retaliate with lightning breath every round. We can actually make use of this though by baiting the nearby water elementals, which take a bajillion damage with that resistance. I'm never going to use this scroll either, so let's cast Turn to Gold for fun. Maybe the dishonor of becoming a gold dragon will be enough to defeat him. I mainly just did this to see what it looks like, as it looks like 47 reloads to accomplish. That's enough playing around though. How to beat him? The answer, as always, is a thick layer of darkness. Ansur's legendary breath attack happens each time he's hit, which is unsustainable to tank twice every turn, even with resistance. With darkness, his range on his breath is 3 meters, so we can shoot him and he can't do anything about it. Every turn he has a couple places he can fly to, but he'll fly back the next turn, which means we get a chip at him for like 6 HP every other turn. This was a long endeavor. It involved many arrows and many lost brain cells, but if it works, it works. Oop, he's starting to do something else. I think we should get out of here. Well, welcome to stage 2, now with lightning strikes. This makes it slightly more annoying since we need to move every turn, and occasionally he'll instead channel in the middle, making it take more time. We did get a couple finisher spells, including Scrolls of Disintegrate to help speed it up. Hellish Rebuke also coming in handy to help the damage output with our limited actions. Finally, after many arrows and spells, one last shank with our spear does answer the heart of the gate. Now this nets us 2 more legendary items, Balduran's Giant Slayer and Balduran's Helmet. I really like this helmet with the Ring of Regen, adding drastically to our survivability, with 6 HP per turn. Well, one last thing before we take out Orin, and that's Raphael in the Hills. In the entryway to the house I hope is an Infernal Mason, a lost soul from long ago, who has some interesting dialogue pertaining to Moonrise, as he was the architect. and was a servant to Ketheric Thorm. There's some special dialogue here if you manage to cleanse the Shadow Curse.
Thank you.
Now we're here for the Orphic Hammer, another legendary weapon for the collection, though this one's more of a quest item. Remember that Githyanki in the Astral Prism? It's for rescuing him, which we will be doing. While we're here, it wouldn't hurt to grab some other loot. Gloves of Hill Giant Strength, anyone? To get the hammer, we'll need to head to Raphael's bedroom and get his passcode. Let's simulate the fight from the enemy's perspective. And with him dead, we get his key, to get Raphael's passcode, to get the Orphic Hammer. Let's take it to the basement. There's a very important woman down here behind locked doors, which we'll need to rescue. It's a good thing we have the ability to fly, or else we'd never be able to get in here. She's guarded by 2 spectators who, despite having a giant eye, are just as susceptible to blindness as the rest. If you want a good item build for honor mode, I recommend this one. Tons of damage from relative safety. I do suggest swapping up the classes from mine, however, something a little more intellectual. The spectators are no big problem, and we can now free Raphael's prisoner, Hope. She'll be making a lot of Hope puns. Hope is a high level cleric, which means she gets access to Divine Intervention, which I will struggle to resist using. She can also banish monsters from her house, when it decides to work, of course. We'll want to clean out the entire house, not only for XP, but for the upcoming Raphael fight. Make sure she's invisible or she'll die immediately when combat starts. Raphael shows up with Yurgir from Act 2 and his posse of followers. Yurgir is watching some kind of new lotion or something, because he's absolutely glowing. We duck Hope out of the way so she doesn't blow up, and lure a couple Cambrians out of the room to take them out in isolation. Tanking them all is a bit much since we can't hide in darkness like before due to Raphael's Devil Sight. Tiptoeing into Raphael's chamber, we can just barely get him and Corilla into combat, and now we can reasonably fight them. Especially thanks to our secret weapon, the Reverse Raincoat. This makes us permanently wet, and being wet gives us free fire resistance. I told you it was useful. Raphael can do a bajillion fire damage, so fire resistance is a necessity. He can't cast it forever though. Raphael actually has a limited amount of spell slots, so the gameplay is to just chug potions and heal until he's all out. After a while, all he has left are firebolts. Considering we heal 6 damage a turn, we can just about fight him indefinitely without potions, and so from here, it's only a matter of time. A new legendary item for us to wear, Helldusk Armor. We'll wear it, bumping up our AC even further. Leaving the Hells, we're finally maxed out on our levels, which means one last spin of the wheel and one last class, Monk, giving us the option to use Flurry of Blows as a bonus action. Could have been worse. On a side note, our cabbage count is 46, and I, for the life of me, can't find the last one, so let's just go kill Orin instead. This involves a plot line of murders tracing back to this guy here, and he has something we need, and his prime target is located here. Someone just so happened to fill their room with explosive barrels though, so we'll capitalize on their intuition. Now then, Dolores Corpse has just what we need, a phrase and directions to the Murder Tribunal. Here, Sarevak Anshev judges us on the road to becoming a Ballist cultist, which we'll need to do to gain entry to Baal's Inter Sanctum. We're able to deceive him. The only problem with deception is we must now prove ourselves. I try freeing them with the Orphic Hammer, but these chains are too powerful. So I'm sorry, but we'll be taking them out. After bathing in Baal's blood, we have officially entered the cult of Baal. Unfortunately, with this murder, I feel that I've lost something dear to me. We've broken our oath as a paladin by killing this innocent creature, and so at the end of the day, we'll get what's coming to us.
We'll be waiting for you. We have much to discuss.
So I won't be sleeping for the rest of this campaign. Let's kill Orin before this guy kills me. Headed to the sewers now, our second to last boss fight is Orin. With Orin, she transforms into the Slayer, a deadly beast of pure murder. She only has a couple of attacks each round. This is a lot harder to tank than Raphael, and due to the chance of her surrounding ballists, she has unstoppable 12, meaning we won't do nearly any damage. Her allies aren't so hard to beat though. And we can make the beginning of the fight easier and more fun by casting Otto's irresistible dance on her beforehand.
Craving crimson and carnage. So be it.
Unfortunately, the Slayer doesn't dance, but she's effectively stunned. Fighting her in darkness is a struggle though, since she has fairly good accuracy and can pounce, hitting us regardless. For this, I have a plan. Outside the Ball's temple is a ruins. From this vantage point, we can shoot Orin and fly up to safety. On her turn, she'll do nothing. Like Answer fell before her, she dies a fight of inaction. We can finally go talk to Gortash, who honors our alliance and teams up with us to save Baldur's Gate. Now we can head to the Morphic Pool, ignore Gortash, and confront the Elder Brain.
I, Lord Enver Gortash, chosen of Bane, command you.
The Elder Brain, however, has evolved, growing 10 times the size and becoming a Nether Brain. She takes out Gortash for us, so that's one loose end. We're powerless against it for now, but the Emperor has a plan. But I also have a plan. Free Orpheus and hope for the best. Orpheus and the Emperor agree on one thing, and that's we'll need a Mind Flayer at our side to stop the Nether Brain. Orpheus has been through enough, plus it'll make me even stronger, so I volunteer. Like Halsin died before us, we contract a serious case of bonitis, but instead we become something more, a Mind Flayer. Ready with my pal Orpheus, we're ready to take on the world. We also get to team up with our allies that we made throughout the campaign. No one's here. Normally there's this big cutscene with all your friends that you helped, but it seems I didn't help as much as I thought. Well, moving on. As customary, this fight is very time consuming, plus we're already level 12, so we'll just stealth past and head to the final battle. We can stealth up with Orpheus and sneak our way atop the Nether Brain. From turn 1, we can use the Nether Stones to enter the Nether Brain and attempt to dominate it. The best part of Orpheus is he knows Globe of Invulnerability. You know those orbs of negation, and the brain quakes? Nullified. The invulnerability even counts the platforms under us, so we can just stick here all fight. With our equipped Diva's Mace and combined with Hellish Rebuke, the brain has been defeated. And despite my intrusive thoughts, I will not doom the Sword Coast to Mind Flayer domination.
In my name.
I must end.
Hopes, nightmares, and the screams of legions upon legions of... The pain rips through you, obliterating all thought, all feeling. Silence. For the first time in a long time, your thoughts are entirely your own. And then... gravity.
After crashing, we made it. The day has been saved thanks to me and Shadowheart. Wait, Shadowheart? What the hells are you doing here? Come to steal my glory? Weathers, come on, man. Whatever. Orpheus goes home and I go to venture into the wilds of the Sword Coast. Until years later, Withers invites us all for a grand party, a reunion, and... Hey, Withers, what's that? He had the last cabbage, you troll bastard. That's it, I'm getting revenge on you both. Screw your party.
Fascinating. Thou hast ventured long with thy comrades, shared food, fire, and friendship, but even such adamantine bonds could not prevent thee from ruining my party. Suddenly, I am most tired. Good day.